Are reusable rockets all they're cracked up to be? SpaceX rightly points to Falcon 9 as an example of practical reusability. Falcon 9 boosters have flown dozens of missions each. But is that a meaningful measure? SpaceX is a private company, so we don't get financial reports of the same detail as a publicly traded company. It's extremely difficult to tease out costs associated with specific products and parts. That means that apart from announcements of particularly quick turnarounds of Falcon 9 boosters, we don't have any information about the cost of refurbishment. SpaceX's claims of turnaround times have gone from about 3 weeks to 2 weeks to I think the quickest is 9 days at this point. SpaceX should get full credit for learning from a fast launch cadence, but the publicly available data about turnaround times tells us nothing about engine reuse versus replacement. We know SpaceX can crank out engines. Even the new Raptor engines have been produced in quantity because at least 230 of them were used up in the 6 test flights of Starship. Engine reuse is at the heart of making rocket reuse economically viable. It isn't as if the first reusable flight of Falcon 9 cost less than using a new Falcon 9 rocket. At some point, refurbishment and reuse should cross the line from a theory about lowering costs to actual measurable savings. And that measurement isn't trivial. A lot of savings come from fast cadences and high volumes. Justifying reuse is in a race against other forms of cost savings. One factor that makes engines so important for the economics of reuse is that most engines these days use expensive, complicated, high-performance pumps to push fuel into the combustion chamber of the engine. This is true for Falcon 9, Starship, and Blue Origin's New Glenn as well. What happens to the economics of reuse when you eliminate those pumps? How? There's a different type of engine than a pump-fed engine. It's called a pressure-fed engine. SpaceX has even made a few of those for Falcon 1 and Dragon capsule abort engines. No currently operating heavy-lift booster uses pressure-fed engines, but there's a good argument on paper that pressure-fed engines on an expendable booster would be cost competitive with booster reuse. Reusable rockets are technically dazzling, but their economics aren't as clear-cut as the hype says it is.